Right. Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Wakakadash, Barakatham to the elders and apostles, Wa'akim Akwaf, and I say Shalom. And the Heavenly Father, true name is Yahweh, and His unbegotten Son, Ba'ashem, in the name of Hamashiach Yahushai. Those are the true names in the ancient Paleo-Hebrew, Allah Shwan Kadash Sultan. And I say Barakatham once again to the elders and apostles, Wa'akim Akwaf, and I say Shalom. And this is a quick sit-down lesson of the prophecy updates as of March the 11th, 2025, on this Tuesday noon. And you had a news article was first reported from Jerusalem Post as of March 11, 2025 by the Jerusalem Post staff, and it reads, airstrikes target Houthi radars in Yemen. Right, because we've been seeing the on and off back and forth rise in intensity between the Houthi rebels and the Israel Defense Force. It says the Houthis radar in Yemen was targeted in airstrikes. The Saudi state-owned Al Arabiya, if I pronounced that right, reported on Tuesday. This is a developing story. It says Israeli injured after a person threw stones at their vehicle. It says Turkey is cautiously optimistic about a Syrian deal with Kurdish forces. And it says IDF kills 3 people, arrests 35 overnight in a West Bank operation. Because you've been having the Israel Defense Force been doing heavy raids over there in the West Bank, and tensions has been amounting between both sides, between the pro-Palestinians and the resistance of the Palestinians going against the Israel Defense Force. Been seeing rising tensions over there in the area, the Gaza Strip, the West Bank, the Palestinian territory, and throughout Syrian Lebanon border as well too. It says more than 3,500 people has left Gaza via Rafah, says the EU. It says a gunman storms a hotel in central Somalia, at least 4 killed. Sirens test to take place at Kafar, Top Telu, Nafali, Namimia, if I pronounced that right. It says Israeli settlers set to fire cars in Palestinian village near Ramallah. It says Lebanon, Israel to launch U.S. mediated talks to solve border disputes. It says Ukraine confronts a future without America and perhaps Zelensky. Potentially. Check Middle East news articles. It says Iran holds joint drills with Russia after. It says Iran joins naval drills with Russia and China after rejecting U.S. talks. And this is a news article from the Media Line staff, published March the 11th, 2025, updated March the 11th, 2025, and it reads, it says Iran holds joint naval drills with Russia, China, after rejecting U.S. talks on nuclear program. The exercise includes the drills on striking maritime targets, damaging controls, and joint search and rescue operations. Iran has launched a large-scale joint naval exercise with Russia and China in the North Indian Ocean days after its supreme leader dismissed an offer from the U.S. president for nuclear negotiations. The Combined Maritime Security Belt drill aims to improve maritime security and enhance coalitions between the 3 nations, while also driving observers from several other countries. It says the Iranian Navy Deputy Operations Commander Amir Mustaflia Chadidia, if I pronounce his name right, it says describe the primary goal of the exercise as a strengthening naval cooperation and securing major maritime routines. The primary goal of this exercise is to enhance maritime security in the northern Indian Ocean and strengthening naval cooperation between Iranian, Chinese, and Russian navies. Chardadiana said, as a quoted by the Tehran Times. The further noted that the border regional significance, pointing to critical trade routes such as the Straits of Malacca and Hormuz and the Bab and Al Madad. Our goal is to strengthening collective security, and we invite Shanghai Cooperation Organization, the SCO, nations and regional countries to contribute to this effort, he added. China's defense minister stated that exercise included drills on striking maritime targets, damaging controls, and joint search and rescue operations. Russia's TASS news agency reported that the exercise features 15 combat ships and support vessels and helicopters. Right, so while we're seeing the increasing alliance between China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea, of the ongoing tensions that those countries have amending tensions against the West. As you, as I mentioned, that as you seen in that news article, Iran just recently did a military exercise drills with Russia and China after Iran rejected an offer from nuclear to further nuclear talks between the United States. So Iran rejected that call. And this is the prophet Joel chapter 3 verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty man, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Right, so that's what we're seeing over there, Western Asia, which is the Middle East, which is really Western Asia. So we seeing those proxy groups, nuclear escalations is heating up, especially Iran versus Israel, the resistance of the Palestinians and Hamas going against the Israel Defense Force back and forth on and off, which is only going to continue to increase. And that's why we're seeing this continually being proclaimed among the Gentiles, which is the arms of nations, what they continue to increasingly be in that warlike mindset. And the Heavenly Father is waking up the mighty man of these arms of nations, especially over there in Western Asia. And that's what we're seeing what's heating up over there. The prophet Joel chapter 3 verse 10, it says, beat your plowshares and the swords and the plenty hooks and let the weak say I'm strong. Right, let the weak say I'm strong. Just like Iran rejected the call from the United States of a potential offer of a nuclear talks, of a potential nuclear deal. So they have rejected that offer and they're going to continue building up that nuclear capability against the Israel Defense Force, because that's their main target, their main adversary is, the Israel Defense Force. So we're going to be seeing more increasing rising tensions between Iran versus Israel and the Western countries, and the building up alliance between China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea, and these other countries that's allies with these nations as well too. So we're going to continue these nations building up their military capability. We're going to be seeing more military exercise drills, more military spending, and more nuclear escalations. So we definitely that's going to build you up to the Third World War. And this is First Thessalonians, the fifth chapter. As I mentioned, I brought out that news article that you had Iran did exercise drills with Russia and China after Iran rejected that call from the United States of a nuclear talks. And this is First Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 3. For when they shall say peace and safety, and sudden destruction come upon them, as they travail one with child, they should not escape. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, right, wars and rumors of wars, as we seen North Korea fired off their ballistic missiles as of yesterday to show their more military strength against the adversaries of South Korea, Japan, and the United States. And I believe South Korea and Japan, South Korea and the United States about to get underway with their military exercise drills. So we definitely going to be seeing rising tensions, which been increasing on and on back and forth for many years now, as of recently. Between over there in the Korean Peninsula, North Korea versus South Korea, Japan, and the United States. So those tensions are only going to continue to increase. And those are examples of recent wars and rumors of wars. Just like the Russia-Ukraine situation. I believe it was a news article earlier this morning. You had Ukraine use their largest drone strikes against Moscow of Russia. So that Russia-Ukraine situation is heating up. So those are signs of wars and rumors of wars. It says And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, right? The Russia-Ukraine situation, Iran versus Israel, Hamas versus the Israel Defense Force. It says, ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must first come to pass, but the end is not yet. Right, so it's going to come to pass, but it's not going to end just yet. So we're going to be seeing more building up of wars, rumors of wars, as we're seeing in our world today. Matthew 24, verse 7, for nation shall rise against nation. Right, the Houthi rebels going against the Israel Defense Force. Iran versus Israel. North Korea versus South Korea, Japan, the United States. Those are signs of nation against nation. It says, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilence, earthquakes in diverse places. Right, so we've been seeing the uptick in increasing earthquakes in diverse places, the increasing famines and pestilence, the increasing nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and the increasing of wars and rumors of wars. Matthew 24, verse 8, all these are beginning of sorrows. So all these increasing, very important biblical signs that we see in our world today, this is just the increasing beginning of sorrows that we're going to continue to see more and more and more. And this is and then you've been having recent military raids from the Israel Defense Force over there in the West Bank and the Gaza Strip, as I brought that news article as well too. And these seditions and uprisings that's taking place in the world as well too. Because I believe you're going to have another more protests over there in Romania, because you had one of the I believe he's potentially might be a president, because they had to do a recount of his vote, if I'm not mistaken. So these are examples that we're going to have more protests, more seditions, and more uprisings, and more uproars people in the world. This is I just want to add a side note to that. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 9 verse 3. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars people in the world, right? Increasing earthquakes. Because I believe you had a 6.0 earthquake, 6.5 earthquake over there in Iceland. And then the day after that, you had I think a 5.9 to 6.0 earthquake over there in Japan. So these are examples that we're going to be seeing increasing of earthquakes and the increasing uproars people in the world, especially with the latest protests that we've been seeing over there in Congo, Sudan, over there in the Gaza Strip, Palestinian territory, over there in Lebanon, and different other protests over there in Romania, and protests increasing around the world as well too. So those are examples that we're going to be seeing more uproars and people in the world, and earthquakes in diverse places on top of that as well too. And this is the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 15 and verse 15. It says, for the sword of the destruction draweth nigh, and one people should stand up and fight against another with swords in hands. Right, and one people should stand up and fight against one another with swords in hands, and that's what we're going to be seeing. Sedition to uprisings. 2nd Esdras 15 verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men, invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor their princes, and the course of action stand in power. All right, due to the unrighteous decrees, so you're going to have citizens rise up against their leaders in power. This is that's going to cause an insurrection, which that's in 2nd Esdras 16th chapter as well too. That's going to come to full effect. So we're seeing increasing growing signs of that. So we're going to be seeing that Luke 21 verse 25 of the discretion of nations will perplex and seas rage roaring. In that 2nd Esdras 9 verse 3, there should be seen earthquakes and uproars people in the world. So we're going to continue to see that increasing. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 3, verse 8. In a time to love, in a time of HATE, in a time of war, in a time of peace. We're definitely living in a time of HATE. So we're going to be seeing more lawlessness, iniquities, heavy judgments, increasing wars. So we're definitely are in those times. Because we're living in modern day biblical signs of the signs of times. As it says, once again, it says Iran holds joint naval drills with Russia and China after rejecting U.S. talks on U.S. programs. So that's only going to stir up more tensions between Iran versus Israel, right along with the pro-Iranian groups going against the Israel Defense Force, especially over there in Western Asia. It says Moscow targeted by dozens of drones. Ukraine drones mirror reports from the Russia-Ukraine conflict. It says Russian militaries liberates a dozen locations in Kursk regions. It says a NATO member accusing NATO of threatening its sovereignty. Those are signs of wars and rumors of wars. It says Russia should launch a Russian strike in retaliation for the Ukrainian drone strike. Senior MP reports. Kremlin warns against blind optimistic over Ukraine. It says civilians' death toll from the Ukraine mass drone attack rises. It says the number of people killed in the major multi-wave assault has risen to three, according to the officials. It says civilians' death toll from the Ukrainian mass drone attack rises. The death toll from the major multi-wave Ukrainian drone attack on civilian sites in the area of Russian capital has risen to three after a 43-year-old scrambled to his injuries in a hospital. Moscow Regional Governor Andrea Volobov reported on Tuesday. According to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, a total of 337 Ukrainian drones were neutralized on Tuesday night, and 91 of them intercepted over Moscow's region. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus 3 verse 8, in a time to love, in a time of hate, in a time of war, in a time of peace. This is Revelation chapter 11 verse 14. This is the book of Revelations 11 verse 14. The second will pass, behold the third will coming quickly. Right, so the second will pass, behold the third will coming quickly, and that's what we're seeing. It says Trump's escalation trade war doubles tariffs on Canada steel, aluminum. Right, that goes into that St. Mark the third chapter. If a kingdom be divided against itself, the kingdom cannot stand. So we're going to be seeing trade wars and economic trade tariff wars, and that's what we're seeing between the United States and Canada, right along with Mexico as well too, and China. This is a news article from Voice of America. VOA News.com, published by Ken Brenmere, if I pronounce his name right, as of March the 11th, 2025 at 12:53 p.m. And it reads, it says Trump's escalates trade war, doubles tariff on Canada steel, aluminum. It says the U.S. president ramped up its trade war with Canada on Tuesday, doubling the 25% tariffs on its northern neighbor steels and aluminum export to 50% after Canada, Ontario province leader said he's adding a 25% levy on electricity sold to 1.5 million American customers. In all caps posted on his true social media platform, Trump calls Canada one of the highest tariff nations anywhere in the world. The president said that the double the U.S. steel and aluminum tariffs would take effect Wednesday morning. In addition, Trump demanded that Ottawa must immediately drop their anti-American farm tariff to 250 to 390% on various U.S. dairy products, which have long been considered outrageous. It says Trump's ignite the economy war last week with Canada, normally a staunch ally, and U.S. is the second biggest trade partner after Mexico by first imposing, then delaying for a month, and a 25% on all products exported to the United States. Trump said he's pressuring Canada to further curb the flow of migrants and illicit drugs, especially the deadly opioid fentanyl, into the United States. It's the book of St. Mark, chapter 3, verse 24. And if a kingdom be divided against itself, the kingdom cannot stand. Right, as we're seeing with these nations doing these economic wars, trade wars, political wars, geopolitical wars, and nuclear wars on top of that as well too. And definitely these trade wars between these nations. It says, and if a kingdom be divided against itself, the kingdom cannot stand. St. Mark 3, verse 25. And if a house be divided against itself, the house cannot stand. Right, so if a house be divided against itself, the house cannot stand. That's what we're seeing. It says Hungarian foreign minister Ukrainian drone strike disrupts Russian oil flow via a pipeline. It says Ukraine drone attack on Moscow is necessary for Russia to make peace. Analyst says Ukraine losing its trump card as Russian troops enter Kursk stronghold. It says Houthis announce countdown attack on shipping. Another sign of wars and rumors of wars, especially the tensions between the Houthi rebels of the pro-Iranian groups going against the Israel Defense Force. It says this is from the Miami Herald, and this is published by Emir El Felkaki. Newsweek World updated March the 11th, 2025 at 1:11 p.m. and it reads, Houthis announce countdown to attack on shipping. It says the Iranian-backed Houthis militant groups Ansar Halal said in a countdown to block Zionist shipping has begun, increasing the potential risk of maritime attacks on Israeli and U.S. vessels. It says the Newsweek reached out to the White House and Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu for comment. Why it says why it matters. The Iranian-backed group has disregarded a recent resignation as a group entity and threatening to resume attacks on Israel if the current trust collapses. Ansar Halal has significantly disrupted global shipping through the Red Sea in one of the world's busiest sea lanes, driven up coasts and forced vessels to take dangerous routes. It says what to know. It says confirming the readiness of the Yemen's Navy operation, whose mission is to confront the Israeli-American starvations in the groups of siege of Gaza. Senior Ansar member of Muhammad Ali al-Houthi posted on Arabian State on X. Any escalation